Hello everyone, this is Venus Brown doing a reaction to The Crown, Season 2, Episode 6. I am probably not going to pronounce this right, but let me give it a shot. It looks like it says Tywysog Cymru. Maybe that's right. I don't know. They're really trying to challenge me here. Let's see what the description says. Amid rising Welsh nationalism in the run-up to his investiture as Prince of Wales, Charles is sent to spend a semester there and learn the language. Okay. I think I remember a little bit of that.
Ragged rocks the ragged rascal ran.
This is where some silencing headphones would seriously come in handy. For all of them.
Guided by one guiding principle. Wherever possible, change absolutely nothing. The investiture of the previous Prince of Wales in 1911.
And to those of us, less an investiture and more like an invasion. And feudal imposition. And more like the confirmation of a true native son of Wales. Enough Welsh to address the country in their native tongue.
And content there. Finally, in his studies and his personal life.
Oh, I do get that.
Can express himself.
Stirrings, nationalist stirrings, in a region that has long felt aggrieved, overlooked, undervalued. Pull him out of Cambridge and send him to Wales for a term. We think it could be enormously helpful.
Okay, this is something I sort of get, because I have a kid that growing up has been delicate, was very sensitive, that had a hard time finding their place in the world, finding a place where they were comfortable, and finding people that they felt that they could really get along with and be comfortable with. That stuff was a challenge. And so making sure that they were in a place that they felt like they fit and where I felt like they were getting the services they needed, kind of education they needed, those were all very important to me. Of course, it's the Prince of Wales, the son of the Queen. And so, of course, there's going to be these challenges. I do think because they're talking about doing it per term, that probably could be okay. It's not going to like cut in the middle of their education and their training. I think it wouldn't be as hard. If you just pull some kid in the middle of something from one school and then throw them in another when they're in the middle of a term, that sucks. Or in my oldest kid's case, he was in a class that he really loved, that he really appreciated, and then that teacher left for safety reasons because they got a much better offer. Put a new teacher in, that teacher didn't last, then they put a new teacher in. They went through 4 teachers in 1 year. All of that turnaround over and over and over again during the year was very, very difficult. I think in the long run, him learning a little bit of Welsh and going to another country for a while to learn a little bit there, I think that can help him to be more rounded, get a better understanding of the people in the world that his family has some authority over. I think that's good for a leader, for them to better understand their people. So that's good. The fact that he's going to be pulled from some place that he's finally comfortable in and finally doing well in, that's good. And the acting thing, I get that too. Both my kids, I think, enjoy, flourish, and do well in the arts. I heard too many people like wanting me to put my kids into sports. We did soccer for a little while, but dance, oh no, they don't consider that sports. That dance takes skill, it takes heart, and it takes athletic ability. The reality that people here don't want to look at dance as sport, think that I should be putting my kids in freaking baseball and football and all of this stuff. Like, that's not them. Dance to me was a great alternative. And this is interesting. It says at the university to learn the language. Like, did Wales at the time seriously only have one university? Because that seems unlikely to me. But then again, I don't know. It was a while ago. Maybe there was only one university. Or maybe there was only one major university.
Just been cast in a wonderful role.
I know, but
Oh, that would
No
be
buts.
terrible.
personal feelings
And frivolity.
aside.
That's not frivolity. Stop it. Ugh. Brothers and sisters. Here's the intro to The Crown, Season 3. If you like this content, leave me a like or a follow. If you click that little bell and click subscribe, you can get more notifications for content once it comes out. And there it is, The Crown.
Dim llais bod penderfyniadau am Gymru yn cael ei gwneud yng Nghymru, gan y Cymru, a hynny drwy gyfrwng arian Gymraeg. I'm the Vice President of Plaid Cymru. I'm a Republican nationalist. You know my feelings about the office of the Prince of Wales? That it's a princehood illegitimately imposed upon us by an oppressive imperial conquest.
Considerable amount of Welsh in a relatively short period of time.
That was for Welsh citizens.
You're teaching. You have students you don't agree with. That doesn't mean you go to the principal and say, I'm sorry, I ain't teaching that kid. They're from a background that I don't agree with. They're from a family I don't agree with. Okay, so I'm assuming that there were people in Ireland and people in Wales that really were in disagreement about the hefty power that the crown has over them. They want their own nation to be their own nation. They don't want Great Britain ruling over them. Then you do have this idea that you have these groups of people that do want more independence, want the crown to see their side a little better, to just be more supportive of them. And so then the idea that you teach this kid to speak your language, they do their speech in your language, and that might actually help to open things up for your people. So I definitely can see where both sides are coming from. I remember he struggles a little bit, but if I recall correctly, I think it ends up going fairly well. Cymru. It looks like Cymru on here. Maybe the U is just not pronounced that way. But then the other one, Tywysog. What is that? I don't think I heard him say that, so.
The door.
No. My politics are the reason why I walk through the door every day.
Doesn't exist. My families.
I don't think of myself as against things. I'm for things. Country, my culture, and my language, most of all.
Opposition to that.
I think it imposes a kind of uniformity that by default, yes, suppresses Welsh identity with a ubiquitous Britishness.
But Wales is Britain.
Is
Britain
it?
is Wales. Historically, we always fought together.
Ydych chi'n siarad Cymraeg?
Ydy yn siarad Cymraeg?
Do you speak Welsh?
Some people might have some problems with those kinds of discussions. They can be touchy, but I think that is very good for two opposing sides to come together and talk like that so that they can better understand their differences and their perspectives. It's easier to respect another person when you get where they're coming from.
Nobody likes a misery guts.
Misery guts.
I haven't actually made it to the library yet.
He is. I mean, I am.
Griffith himself before long. He, an alumnus or...
Back of the throat.
Like the fricatives.
I know what fricatives are.
We do them as warm-up exercises before we go on stage. Lay, li, lay, la, law, lu, law. Or in Welsh, sa, lay, li, lay.
Mm.
The idea. How embarrassing that was for the rest of us.
Well, you could have told him. You could have introduced him to different areas of the school, some of the major figures that you want him to know about as his tutor.
Favor. Turn around again and never show up like the last Prince of Wales and the one before him.
And that should get him started on, you know, getting better integrated, understanding things a little better, hopefully.
His introduction to the world, it might be an idea to let Charles work on the speech himself.
I agree.
Him more.
Do you think that's wise?
Yes. Very.
That speech has been composed by diplomatic and constitutional experts.
So you let him work on it, then you let those experts look it over, edit it, figure it out. You want this kid to become king. You freaking prepare him to become king.
I do.
And part of that should be working on his speeches.
He made it to the library. Now I know who Llewellyn ap Griffith was. The first and true Prince of Wales. Later by Henry's son, Edward I, took the title promised to Llewellyn and conferred it on his own son at the gates of Carnarvon Castle.
Be a true Welsh-speaking son of Wales.
The Welsh-speaking part.
That's the start.
Good. Made any...
Oh, it's fine, really. I'm incredibly used to it.
Stick it to his hand. I was a little worried he was gonna, like, talk to one of the other students and tell him to, like, act like he was friends with him or something like that. Which sometimes is very irritating. So what if I like him?
Tree. Pedwar.
Looking all right in here.
We're nearly up to 10. He's a very good teacher.
Here's Ben.
You haven't been teaching him naughty words.
Found it. Drinking water for Liverpool, England. And so one of the last fully Welsh-speaking villages in the land now rests quietly at the bottom of a lake.
You feel so strongly.
Mm-hmm.
And no wonder so many people want to stop me.
Want independence.
Is self-determination.
Yep.
Not being spoken down to. Dominated. Governed by those so remote, they don't even know who you are, or what you think or need.
I know how that feels.
They get to learn a little bit, too, about people that have to deal with being royalty and being expected to constantly do what everyone else says when they don't want to.
Pan eithon ni ag Andres mewn loft. Fydde eriod wedi gweld mam a thad yn gwneud y fath i'r gwely. Gyda'i gilydd. Ar y goll.
Really just a little one.
Trienni, nagw. Dwi.
For me by people who don't know me, so of course it doesn't reflect who I actually am or what I think. Or indeed what I have come to learn, having been here in Wales.
Exactly.
And there are one or two tiny additions I'd like to know.
Cool castle.
This is the BBC. We welcome you here to this royal...
Did you see that one of the images on those monitors actually looked like it was in color? Did they have color in 1969?
And the mood among the gathering crowds is one of...
I wasn't born until 74, so...
And some might say, few boos could be heard.
Boos. That is a hat. The green thing. Wow. That headpiece just looks weird.
I fod yn falch ohono. Ac wrth reswm, mae'r Cymru'n domino dal gafal ar ei treftadaeth, ei diwylliant cynhenid, ei hyn... Of Wales. To visit every town, shake every head. Listen.
This is how we come together.
Beauty of having done it in Welsh. They won't have understood a word of what I actually said.
Thank one another every time we did anything in this family. We'd never get anywhere. His suffering and Jaws was clear.
Was it?
Unmistakable. Voice for my liking. Not having a voice is something all of us have to live with. Thing, as the royal family, we are not entitled to do. Or speak, or agree, or...
Think. Or breathe. It is perhaps not
These
as easy
words
for me as it is
sound
for you.
like they've been repeated
Why?
by
Because I
others
have a beating
also.
heart.
To hear it.
Stop it. Get your hands on some articles in the news from Wales. See what they say and what they think. Because maybe mommy is being a little biased.
Within mistook me all this while. I live with bread like you. Feel want. Taste grief. Need friends. Acted thus. How can you say to me, I am a king?
All right, everyone. I really liked that episode. Didn't like the Queen's response at the end, but the whole idea of bringing these two kind of clashing mindsets, viewpoints together, getting them to a place where they really seem to understand each other a little better, understand where each is coming from a little better. I think that's a good thing. I'd like to see more of that in the current situation that we're in now in America. Certain conservative Republicans pushing against the LGBTQ plus community without ever really trying to understand them. And honestly, sometimes more liberal progressives not trying to understand where conservatives are coming from. Still, the fighting against entire communities, especially minority communities, treated terribly, that to me is horrible. It's awful, and it needs to stop. Let's not get on that rant again, because I think I did it enough last time. It's not some kumbaya thing where if we get together and we explain our sides that everybody's going to be all happy-go-lucky and everything's going to be all right. But I think it can be helpful. And I think always trying to be respectful of people that you don't agree with, that are on very opposite sides of your thinking and your perspective in any given issue, I think is helpful. Being disrespectful and actively fighting against the other side without understanding them, without trying to bridge some of those gaps, not helpful.